Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the DAC 2017 EU Playoffs. We're here taking a look at game number 2. It's Bears facing off against Liquid. I'm Lyrical, going to be joined as well by the lovely, the wonderful, the man from down under. Gods, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a smooth qualifier. Suddenly everything gets tumultuous and rocky today, but the Dota is at its peak. That was, in my mind, the best game of the qualifier so far, the highest level. And we've had a lot of draft wins, I feel, in some of the other Europe games. Looking at a lot of the Cloud9 games, they're a very draft-driven team. Same for Secret, I'd say, even. But that game wasn't won on draft. It was just won by sheer team play and some great plays at that. So really enjoyed that game one.
Definitely, and looking forward to see what they bring with game number 2. And already it's a little bit of a different look. We've got the Slardar, Lone Druid, Rubik, Dazzle, and now Batrider picked up as well. Lone Druid, he gets through. They didn't want to give him the Weaver of their Spirit. What do you think?
Bears going for the Bear strat. I think Fata's been playing very well on the Weaver, and I've always had some doubts here and there about how good a carry Weaver can transition into the mid to late game, but I'm rethinking that every time I see Fata play this hero. He just manages to farm so well. He has such a high impact through split pushing, finding kills, putting pressure on the opponents. He's making me a full believer in this one position Weaver at all stages of the game, not just as a early to mid game hero. So I'd like the ban from Liquid. It's been such a common pick for Bears that it's worth putting them in a different position where Fata's perhaps playing a hero like Lone Druid, which he's not as good on, even if the hero is considered to be better than the Weaver.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's worth looking at. I mean, even at the high levels, you've got some players that are just more comfortable with certain heroes, and it fits their play style well. I'm kind of curious to see how they end up changing it all around. And Wind Ranger is going to be the pick. So a hero that got some interesting changes to the most recent game. What do you think? There was the added talent, I think, where you get movement speed slow or something?
Yeah, movement speed slow. I think the big thing is the power shot changes. It has a longer cooldown at some of those earlier levels, which is a nerf, but that's fine because you got a lot more damage on those earlier levels. Level 1 power shot went up by 50% from 120 to 180. Level 2 is 220 to 260. At level 4, it's exactly the same spell, but those early levels for your laning stage are looking a whole lot better. The slow AoE is better from Windrun. The mana cost is down. This hero was the most buffed hero in 7.02, I want to say. So potentially a really powerful pick. The level 10 talent with the plus 25% Windrun slow. What total slow is that? So depending what level it is, so you can have 55. Level 1 Windrun.
Oh.
Yeah, but if it's let's say level 10, you go for max shackle build, so you only have 1 in Windrun, it's still a 33% slow with just level 1 in the spell. That's a ridiculously high slow for a value point.
Right, and it also, I believe, did get the AoE increased as well by another 25, so that's going to be... it's actually a little bit... I think if I remember correctly, Black Hole is 420 AoE, so it's 100 range shorter than a Black Hole AoE. And in these team fights, you start slowing down these people, particularly with a Lone Druid that's just going to be able to punch them in the back of the head while they're trying to run away. If they start building into a couple more slows, that could be a problem. And just in general, it's an interesting pick. Where do you like her now, though?
Well, I mean, she's just mid laner, I guess. There's not many heroes that necessarily counter Wind Ranger as a mid, so pretty sure we'll see Bears run it there. I don't feel like it's an off... I mean, it could theoretically be an off laner, but to me, you typically want to run those more, I guess, in-your-face kind of off-laners, those front-liners, the initiators, the Axe, the Centaurs that Liquid are banning. We've seen Timbersaw get picked up quite a bit for Forev. That's potentially a hero that becomes even more appealing now that there's a sniper there. The right-click damage can be somewhat negated by the reactive armor, although we'll be seeing the sniper mid. And sniper actually a pseudo-counter, one of the better heroes against Wind Ranger, since you can't necessarily rely on the Windrun as an escape against headshots. So I do like this pick from Liquid, but all in all, I'm excited to see this Bears draft and how it plays out on the new patch.
Definitely. A lot to be experimented with. Of course, we're just in the first day of it at this point, first games of it at this point, and well, we'll see what Bears have cooked up overnight. I don't know how much time they actually had to check out the patch before they ended up having to play the game. Maybe it's something that we could hit him up over Twitter about or something later on to find out. But in any case, also the Nyx Assassin going to get taken. A great answer to the Bat Rider. The one problem that I feel like this hero does sometimes have is the laning stage can sometimes get shut down a little bit. Do you think that Bears need to facilitate that by sending somebody else to the offlane, or do you think he can be played in the support role?
I think it's more likely the 4F hero. I've seen him play it a bit. Looking like we don't know what the carry is going to be just yet for Liquid, but the Dazzle is pretty good support to zone a Nyx with, and Nyx is not the best hero to fall back and jungle it up if you are getting zoned out. So perhaps we see Bears go for some kind of a dual lane. Rubik could be Adam or Yapsor's hero. We've seen both of them play it, so maybe we see Yapsor end up on something a bit more aggressive that can join up with the Nyx Assassin, but I want to say, yeah, it's probably going to be a 4F hero. The thing is with Nyx, so you also want to get the fast level 6, so sharing the experience in your lane is also kind of going against your interests a little bit.
Yeah, that's something to be concerned about, I guess, and Hero definitely wants that extra bit of experience. Lifestealer also going to get taken out, as well as the Disruptor. I don't know, I feel like this is sort of just to me, when I look at this draft from Bears, it's like they want to go in and find a quick pickoff, or can they kind of, with an Assassin, you're always looking for the pickoff game as opposed to just trying to group up and push, unless you go for something weird like early Aghanims. Do you think that Team Liquid has the counter push well enough to deal with that?
Reserve time.
Yeah, right now, not great. They don't have a good early fighting. Bat Rider can kind of fight early and offer some pickoff potential, but I feel like the safe lane Matu hero needs to be more early game focused. Like I think like a Necrophos type pick, although Necro isn't necessarily good against the Nyx Assassin with the mana burn, but that's like the kind of style of hero I'd like to see Matu end up on, because the sniper is going to be that more late game oriented carry, and also a hero that is going to need some space out of the carry. You can't have sniper and the safe laner necessarily going all in on the late game. You're just not going to get that room to farm with Nyx Assassin roaming around finding pickoffs. So we'll see what he ends up on. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game as far as Liquid's draft goes, with how well they can make this sniper pick work for them.
Yeah. One thing I will mention, I got to watch some of Team Liquid's games in Star Ladder where they just looked dominant, and the Bat Rider Slardar lane was really, really hard to deal with. I'm kind of curious to see how the Lone Druid does it. Since we have this Mirana taken, I guess this means that it... What are these lanes looking like?
This is going to be a Yapsor plays a lot. He used to play a lot. I mean, he streams this a lot. He plays the support Mirana typically.
Okay.
Like roaming full position Mirana, arrow some neutrals, get a fast level 2, chuck some arrows at mid lane, chuck some arrows at the safe lane. He'll go where he's needed. And the Rubik is a good setup for him. So he can... Oh, Liquid, you sneaky devils. No one... I mean, people have seen Miracle play this hero a bit in pubs, but... This is the first time Liquid have picked Meepo with this roster. I want to say it's going to be Miracle playing that and Matu on the sniper. This is probably a role swap from these guys, but maybe Matu's got a Meepo. Who knows? Yeah. This is a surprise in itself.
Well, we'll hop into the game real quickly. I got a fancy little bumper. We got production value out the wazoo. Here we go as we head into game number 2. Bears facing off against Team Liquid. Oh, it's so beautiful. The downside, though, is that we're just looking at the draft phase again, so maybe anticlimactic.
Gonna wait for that perfect timing, like where you start it, you're in the draft, you come out and you're in game or something.
Yeah, I'm not that cool.
Sometimes you go into the game fast, I feel, and then other times, yeah, they're gonna wind the timer down to 0.
Definitely.
5 seconds remaining.
The Meepo pick, I mean, you said a little bit about it. We're not sure what exactly it's going to look like as far as who's playing it. Well, now we do know that it is, in fact, going to be Miracle. How do Bears deal with this? What's the play? What's the way to deal with them?
Whoa. Yapsor is playing the support Wind Ranger. Interesting. I guess your level 1 power shot's that much better now, so this hero is also better support. But how do you deal with it? Typically, you deal with a Meepo by having some heroes that are good against Meepo, so they haven't got that. Plan B, not let Meepo snowball, which he's going to I'd probably get good farm, unless you want to contest his lane, which you could consider, but don't let him get too many kills around that 10 to 15 minute stage of the game. When he gets his Treads, Dragonlance, and then later on his Blink, like if he gets kills with Treads, Dragonlance, he gets an incredibly fast Blink, and if he gets a fast Blink, he's going to get a lot more kills. It's that Meepo constant snowball that you've got to worry about, and you beat through having good burst damage, which is going to come from Fata's Aghanim's timing, really. So We'll see how well Fata can do. I think he's going to be the key player to look out for. I don't know if they changed up the roles based on the Meepo pick. Perhaps they were going to do Wind Ranger mid, and then they saw Meepo and they're like, screw it, we got to do Cormorana now. But either way, this Meepo pick is fantastic. This could be the outdraft Liquid needed to take it to a game 3.
Well, it certainly doesn't start by getting impaled here, as he is going to get hit. A couple more right clicks. The arrow is not going to connect, and it looks like Forev actually is maybe going to be the one that ends up going down. A good heal bomb comes through and poof a little bit off the mark, but Kuroki draws first blood.
First blood.
You'll get the bounty rune and the first blood. You've got the draft advantage, I'd say, and now you get a first blood advantage as well. That's going to really help them out, and that's the offlane Nyx going down. He's got an Iron Talon, so he's already geared up for going to the jungle, but this means that Yaps are unlikely to be able to pair up with him to contest this bottom lane. He's going to come towards mid lane, it looks like, throw some power shots perhaps, look for a courier snipe, although he's already too late to find the courier, as he's seemingly just trying to line up some power shots here.
And I was looking at this actually, 180 damage on a 12-second cooldown for 90 mana. Like, talk about getting sniped. Tempo Man, you're not ready for this.
At this point, yeah, the Wind Ranger is the real sniper right now. Matu, with his lane pushed out, has to trade hits, which is an okay exchange for him for now, because he's got headshot. He's actually going to get Yapso pretty low there.
We'll have to keep our eye on it, but the 2600 range, I mean, if you line it up correctly, this could be a really cool way to just kind of abuse the sniper who wants to stay in one spot for a lot of time and just right-click heroes down. So we'll have to keep our eye on that lane. Oh.
Is he too far up? Oh, Slider's not going to go in just yet. They're waiting for him to push out some more.
Now, does have that level 1 impale, so they know that he is not going to be able to have Spike Carapace. And in the meantime, this does secure Miracle some free farm, which is great for him, going for that early. Well, looks like treads, I guess.
Yep. Rush your treads, get your Dragonlance. Pretty standard Meepo stuff. The Dragonlance a tiny nerf. I think it was like, what, 1 less agi or something in the 7.02 patch?
Yeah.
Might be wrong on that. But I feel like Yapsor really needs... Oh, cancels the South Knife, but I feel like he needs to do something magical in this mid lane. Be it find a kill on the sniper, find a courier. He needs to somehow do something that a Wind Ranger normally wouldn't do. Like, I think support Wind Ranger, I'm like, what is this hero actually going to do? Probably not a whole lot, but he may find an opportunity to do so, but Forev is the one constantly getting pounded.
Oh, almost ends up going down there. That natural high base regen maybe being the savior for him there, but they are just punishing this Nyx assassin. So what we were talking about in the draft is that if this hero does get shut down, even with an Iron Talon, it's not a great time for you. But continuing to harass Matumba Man mid.
And Miracle is level 3 in this Meepo, so he can actually send one of his Meepos to roam with the supports if he wants to. He'll have treads, so theoretically, leave one Meepo in lane farming, have the other with your team with those treads, and you're a very strong early fighting force. And if Foreb comes back to the lane like he's doing now with this TP, and he's level 1, he could get quickly killed off by Miracle if he's not careful.
Oh, meanwhile over here to the side, they do run into Yapsor, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to make anything happen, as you just be able to walk out and away. So a little bit of a failed smoke gank there, and now they're kind of just going to be left walking around the map.
I feel like this Meepo pick is completely thrown off Bears. Bears are going to be playing a very farm-oriented early game. Murata not a hero to easily rotate. Lone Druid typically just wants to farm. You could see some early pressure from Lone Druids onto towers. That's something that sometimes comes out, but given the nature of Batright and what he can do at top, he's likely going to be there for the Firefly to defend it. They'd love to find a kill on Mind Control, but that just doesn't seem all too possible with this dual lane until they get perhaps an Entangle with a level 5 Spirit Bear.
And you can see GH as well, that they're trying to make things happen mid at the same time. There's just not really a great way for them to get stuff done here, but we'll have to watch our eyes on Adam, and well, as long as they're forcing back Fada and not really allowing him to get complete and total free farm, I feel like guess it is a win.
Yeah, small win. I mean, right now, I guess, yeah, for Liquid, absolutely. I mean, Matu doesn't even have to get farm for their draft to be working, but he is getting farm mid. Every single of the 3 cores on the Liquid side is getting good CS in this laning stage. Meanwhile, Nyx is not. Yapsor will get found by a crush, but there's no follow-up there. It looks like for now, Miracle is just happy to play the farming game with his Meepos, keep both of them in bottom lane to farm the jungle and the lane. Hasn't sent any of them off roaming, but that is likely going to change fairly early on, perhaps around the timing of his first Dragon Lance.
They do pull back Kuroki here, and it is going to be able to get the Entangling Claws off, so well, that's going to be a kill going back their way. So Bears, with their bear, making kills happen.
Yeah, this top lane now becomes a lane that they can actually win with the Entangle. The Orb of Venom, the Blightstone as well there, so they've got all the tools they need to kill heroes in this top lane. They need to try and kill anyone who comes to the top lane and push that tower early. I feel like that's going to open up perhaps potential rotations, but for now it's bottom lane where Liquid are focusing. 2 Meepos and a Slada. They could try and engage in here, but it's a little bit risky considering Yapzor is also in the neighborhood.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if they updated that bug that happened with Meepo. If you look at his second Meepo, he has 1140 HP. I think that they still have that thing where you get double counted HP for treads.
That's actually was like an intended change with the way that the treads work, because yeah, I remember Black tweeting that, like, hey, this is a bug, but no, it's not a bug. That's how it's meant to work. Okay. Because you get full stat share from Meepo now without. It used to be with you have to have Ag Scepter to get 100% stat share, but that was the big buff to Meepo where you don't need to go Ags anymore.
Got it.
So your secondary Meepos get the strength from the main Meepo with treads, and then they get double the strength because they also have treads themselves. So they get double strength from the treads.
Got it. Very interesting. That was something that I was wondering about because I saw the tweet and I was like, he was very upset about it, it seemed like.
I think he just lost one too many pub game against Meepo.
I mean, who can blame him? It's a rough life, definitely.
SEA, and he's playing SEA pubs. There's way too many Meepo pickers over there.
Well, still a very passive early laning stage. And
Mind control up top.
Are they actually going to get him here? He's looking to go forward for Adam, and well, this is a lot of damage down on top of that Rubik, who, because they actually are going to be able to get this turn back around. They have Kuroki there to heal him back up, but Fairy Fire, not going to be enough, but it does look like Pharaoh's going to end up going down somehow. The power shot comes through. They take down Kuroki, a double kill for Fata, in spite of what looked to be a weird one.
Just in the fire, yeah. They were going for the Rubik, and it ends up being a lone Druid kill, which is even better.
Yeah. Well,
is not the outcome they were hoping for.
So a very what I thought was going to be a very passive laning phase turns out to be a little bit more aggressive up their top. Do you feel like right now it's just Liquid super happy about Miracle basically having free farm? Is there anything else that they really need to accomplish with the rest of their heroes, or is it just going to be the Miracle show pretty much?
I mean, create space for Matu as well by playing so aggressive up top. Even if Mind Control's dying in these situations, it means the supports aren't mid. It also meant Sniper had to, the Mirana had to rotate. So Sniper had an empty lane, has phase boots, double Wraith Band. Matu's actually getting really good farm on his Sniper because of that aggression up top lane. So any aggression up top, even if you're trading equally, even if you're losing heroes, both die and you get 1 kill, is still worth it, just due to the nature of the other 2 core heroes farming. Meepo has his first Dragonlance, and I think this is really where Meepo typically looks to fight and join up a bit. Bottom lane, nice kill though.
Yeah. Frev was scouting that out for a very long time, waiting for GH to eventually get there, but stepped a bit too far forward and they end up punishing. So something going back the way of Nyx. And this is a hero that can cause some trouble for Meepo when he's farming off in the jungle alone as well, if they manage to catch him out in that point. But it looks like they're trying to set up on Frev now.
Yeah, he does not have Vendetta. Should be a kill.
Pretty quick and easy. There's the crush, the follow-up, double poof, and Impale trying to get away. I don't think that... Oh, maybe he actually is going to be able to. They have another crush in 1 second, and no mana left on Frev, so they'll take that one.
Had to work for it, but still a kill, and Matu up top is looking for a courier. Gets over the trees, though. It was a hasted sniper. Oh. But, yeah, I feel like Miracle hasn't used, the early laning stage timings of Meepo. Not that that's necessarily a mistake, it's more like a playstyle choice of his where he hasn't tried to rotate with 1 Meepo to join his team. Like the Slatters initially was moving around the map a lot. Kuro was also playing aggressive up top. If they had a Meepo potential support with them with a poof, it could have been very potent, but the trade-off is what we're seeing now is a very farm Meepo. If you make those rotations and you don't get kills, you'd be not as farmed as we see Miracle is. Miracle's trusting in the fact that he can just farm and come out with what looks to be a double Dragonlance treads around 10 minutes in. He's going to have 1,500, 1,600 HP and be near unkillable with this itemization that he's got.
Yeah. Oh, and you can also see the movement now down towards the jungle. They want to try and put a kibosh on this, but it'd be tough for Bears to actually find him out. He's heading over to the other side. Maybe GH will be the pickup that they can get. Although, well, it looks like they're going to head off
at the perfect time to not get caught.
God. Oh, they are probably going to be able to at least put some pressure on him, Matumba Man.
He's got the sentry nearby, but Forev is just out of range. He walks in now.
Yeah.
Matu knows.
Yeah, they got the shrapnel stolen from Matumba Man. Turn it back around. The Impale a little bit. Well, no, they are going to actually throw it out there finally, but Miracle is shown back up. Goes on to Firo. That's going to be one going down. Flamebreak pushes back at him. They control him as well, and the crush onto Fata. In some trouble. Come here, says Batrider, and they take him down.
Being meepoed, Lyrical. They are being meepoed. Second Dragonlance is just about online, and Miracle is starting to get out of control. If that smoke rotation found him like 30 seconds earlier jungling, that would have been the big kill that Bears needed. The kill on the sniper is nice. It's a decent kill, but Meepo getting all those turnaround kills definitely making it a heavily liquid favored engagement. And even if it's a clean pick on the sniper, it's still not the kill they want. The Meepo is the top net worth hero and the very high over-leveled hero. The nature of Meepo is such that you get very far ahead, and a death on Meepo hurts a lot more than a death on any other core hero because of how this hero functions. So Miracle wants to make sure he does not die for as long as possible this game.
And just the assassinate onto Yapsor as well for good measure whenever he wants to sit there in the lane. It's also, I mean, you talked about it earlier, Matumba Man having a good game. This is a hero that can also get out of control, and with that bulky front liner of the 5 Meepos running at your face, it's going to be really tough for them to deal with this. So I don't know, Firo maybe needing to really step it up here and make something happen. He's 0-2 so far, 0-2-3. Can't really blame him too much for that.
I mean, he's the first death is a little bit his fault, to be honest, like standing in the Firefly, but ultimately that's not the reason that Bears are in the position that they are this game. It's the aggression of Liquid that's really catching him off guard, and that mid-fight was a very much team decision to try and fight there. He's going to kill now on Slada with the help of Forev. Nice bait. Forev was there waiting for that aggression, turns it around perfectly with Impale. So this is, I feel like Firo is doing the most he can given the situation. He's playing a lone druid against the Meepo strat. It's so hard to fight into Miracle that it looks like he's just decided there's not a whole lot he can do. Bottom lane seems to be where Bears have their eyes set, but Miracle is coming in from behind, walking past an Observer Ward though.
Yeah, and this net, very long range as well. He needs to really respect that, Fata here, and now the TPs are going to start to show up. Slardar looking for the initiation. Nice leap away, but might end up being in a little bit of trouble. They have the crush. There's the shrapnel as well. Oh, Fata still invis, so they aren't going to realize this.
Detection? No detection. They're going to stack shrapnel on him. He can't go for the TP because they'll see him TP.
Oh.
That's such a terrible spot to be in. You're like, I have a TP. They don't see me. I'm invis. They have no sentries here. Well, they did eventually get a sentry, but you can't TP out because the TP would reveal you, and then they can amp you up. They can throw spells at you. You're going to die. Sniper will just right-click you down.
Very, very unfortunate situation there. Mirana, forced to leap out, and granted, maybe if he was heading back the other direction earlier, it would have not been an issue, but regardless, you can tell Liquid playing a great game of Dota so far. They know what they need to accomplish to come away with the victory, and so far they're making it happen. For Bears, what's the big response now? Is it just like everybody run at Miracle? Is there anything else besides that, really?
At some point, or at this point, it's Matu. That's the free kill they'll take. It's got to come through, yeah. Like, having a numbers advantage in these engagements. You can never go into a fight like with just 2 heroes, for example, if you're near an enemy tower, because Liquid can quickly respond, Meepo poofs in, Slaughter rotations, Batrider we've seen get active early as well, he's got a Blink Dagger, and I think that's the big thing. Bring all your cores for these kills. They bring in both Lone Druid and Nyx Assassin to that bottom lane to make sure that fight goes the way they were hoping for it to, so they're going to have the early Nyx Blink. I think the big thing they need to play around is all this great aggressive vision. Adam's done a really good job of getting these deep enemy jungle wards up. The vision advantage definitely favors Bears, and I think that's something, saw last game where when they've had these good vision, they've been able to find key pickoffs, and those were what broke game 1 open for them. They're at a draft disadvantage, but they can try and use this vision to ideally kill Meepo. That is really what it comes down to, is how do you kill Meepo, when do you kill Meepo, how often can you kill him? Because if you don't kill Meepo this game, you're not going to win this game. At some point, you have to solve the Meepo problem.
And maybe that's going to end up being off the back of maybe a rotation in at some point, a next big item that comes up. You've got Blink on Nyx Assassin, but right now it's just they're playing kind of ring around the jungle consistently. Miracle's still able to farm out the secondary jungle here, and I think this is part of the reason why this hero has just become...
I scan.
Yeah, they are going to spot that out. I think it's part of the reason why you have these heroes that are getting first phase banned all the time, because it's just so strong. There's the Blink.
Oh, it's definitely one of those heroes. Yeah, the Blink, the gap closing item is concerned. This is where kills will become that much easier for Miracle. He's instantly towards the top lane, knows it's pushed out. Someone might come to farm up there, so considering a kill. But again, diving near towers, you don't want to get too aggressive unless your team is with you, because that's where Bears can punish. And killing a carry to die as a Meepo is never worth it, unless you're talking like super late game when everyone is level 25. At this stage, when he's level 14 and the next highest level in the game is the level 12 Mirana, Lone Druid's only level 10, you do not want to be trading your life.
You can see
So
this
believe.
as well. Yeah, they scouted it out, I believe. Yapzor is going to get jumped upon, and now they pull him back in. So immediate blink, poof, and, well, Forev also going to be able to get out of there. Running a little bit close, but that's going to be a tower gone, and it feels like there's no response at all. It's so hard.
There isn't. They just don't have a Meepo counter hero here. They don't have the burst damage. The Mirana Act is perhaps the first like item pickup where I'd look like maybe Bears think about fighting into the Meepo, but even that I feel like is a decent boost in their burst damage, but not going to be enough. There's actually going to be a very early, this is another thing, like Meepo you get the early Roshan, you get the Aegis advantage, and having to kill Meepo twice is, well, impossible realistically. Killing him once is, okay, you could theory craft a situation where Nyx initiates, Shackle Shot follow up, maybe a power shot, the bear damage, the Mirana with the double Starstorm. Yeah, that's possible, but doing it twice? Nah, not happening.
Well, and you talk about that big item for Fata eventually coming up as well, the Aghanim Scepter is, well, he's just going to get jumped upon, trying to TP out of there, is going to make it very, very close. But the thing that was, like, that saving grace isn't even completely a saving grace, because Meepo is going to have that naturally high magic resistance as well. So, like, a lot of your damage that's coming out right now for Bears is just also not going to be as effective against killing them. Really tough.
Absolutely. He's queued up a Hex for now. We'll see if he sticks to that one. But that's like the counter item to have against the Mirana, the Wind Ranger. I mean, just having that lockdown for when you initiate. Sometimes you just see Meepos go like Ethereal Blades and Diffusals to just mass agi so you can break buildings and do a ridiculous amount of DPS. But looks like Miracle opting for the more utility initiation aspect. He's got damage coming from the sniper as well, so there's not a huge amount of pressure for him to have to do all the damage. Bears, again, can't fight into this 2 lives of Meepo.
Oh,
but
they are trying to.
force it.
It looks like they want to try and take a fight here as movement comes in, and Kuro is gonna. They're gonna end up jumping onto Yapzor, trying to bring him down. The Impale is gonna connect onto Mind Control. A little bit chaotic. Oh, he wants it. Miracle looking for the initiation. They are not going to be able to find it, so they just lose the Wind Ranger.
The smoked up Rubik. Gotta be careful, my friend. Matu is right next to him. They're actually going to go for a kill with Fata. The lift into Arrow.
All right, coming through. The damage is there. Shrapnel as well. Why not? They take him down. And Adam trying to TP out. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get there to break it. Any win at this point.
That's, yeah, a pretty sizable win considering the position they're in. Like, it's kind of impossible to team fight. You want to run away from any group of Liquid heroes that come at you. That's possible, but they somehow kept the sniper alone. It didn't even feel like Matu was totally out of position there. I think the assumption was that Bears had just scurried away and ran away from the Meepo, and that's true. Meepo was in the river, though. They'd run away to the north, but also to the south, and they managed to catch the straggler and the sniper there, so nice pick-off. And Bears buy themselves a little bit of time. You know, any kill you can get. This is truly the Aegis. Like, last game we saw Aegis is picked up, and they ran into it. Like, Miracle got an Aegis last game in SF. They fought into it, knowing there was no ultis. Meepo does not have downtime. There's no ulti he's waiting for. He is ready to fight, ready to go anytime he's got an Aegis, and almost catches Yapzor. Quick force staff out.
Yeah, same for Ev as well. Just blinking out in a way. Does not want to get caught there, but they stop the push at least for a moment. Still, it's feeling like it's just sort of stalling the inevitable at least. I'm not exactly sure like what the point is that you really turn it back around. I feel like it has to be another situation like catching Matumba Man where somebody is out of position, almost as if they're playing against themselves at this point.
They got to find the openings, which there'll always be some small openings. Sometimes it's just trying to use the map vision you have. Sometimes it's trying to read and guess where your opponents are moving on the map, but it's got to come down to, yeah, finding pickoffs, defending high ground, trying to capitalize on even the smallest of little mistakes. And sometimes they're not even mistakes. Sometimes it's just guessing where Matu's going to farm by himself, which in itself isn't a mistake, but if you can find him and pick him off, you find those kills and put yourself in a good position. But Liquid with this Aegis will take all the out of the towers, but this doesn't translate into the shrines like it once did, so good news for Bears is they will still have access to their shrines until they lose a tier 3 tower.
Yeah. That's something. We got to find our little silver linings here in this game. It's been a little bit rough so far, as, well, they have the Aegis still available if they wanted to try and go high ground. Maybe they just wait for Sheepstick at this point.
Yep. I think also Meepo's level 3 ultimate isn't up, so that's a decent amount of damage output. Yeah. He's still just playing around only 3 Meepos, so I think you want to wait for the level 3 ultimate. He can get it very fast because he can farm so many places on the map. And with that, this Aegis doesn't look like it will amount to a high ground push, but what it does do is complete map control, towers all down. Bears are actually smoking up aggressively towards this bottom side of the map. This looks like a pseudo warding smoke as well as potentially a pickoff around the Mirana Ags if there is a lone hero down here, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
Yeah. Good placement. And I think that Matumba Man pickoff that they had was partially because of the good warding vision that they had, and it looks like they're going to be able to do it again. Adam places down 1 ward back over here to the side, and there's still this other one that they need to keep their eyes out for, but a little bit of a scan from the Radiant, actually able to scout out that the lone Druid was there.
Yeah, the Radiant side doesn't have much vision right now, and that definitely has been perhaps one of their weak points throughout at least the 2 games we've seen, is just the warding game from Adam has definitely been better than what we've seen out of Kuro. Kuro has often been maybe pushing a lane, farming. He's been getting more farm than Adam. I've seen so many games where Adam's just like dying and feeding for his team. Miracle poof on out. But he gets wards up. He gets great vision and sets Bears up to succeed. Even though he almost always has less farm than other 5-position supports, he almost plays that old school like PPD style support where he's like the position 6, you know? He goes beyond being a 5-position support. Miracle blinks in bottom.
Oh, are they going to be able to take this one? The Impale turnaround, it's still not going to be enough damage to stop this from happening. They're trying to run back out and away. Mind Control finds Fata, pulls him back in, and GH not going to be able to find the crush. Rubik does steal that, trying to TP himself. And there's the Shackle to make sure that at least for now they'll be able to walk out. And Yapsor amped. Yeah, no way out for him. So they take 2 in the end. There was a moment there at the bottom where Wind Ranger actually power shot Miracle, and I thought that we were going to see a jump forward into Arrow from Mirana, but
I don't think that. Again, like Liquid were already setting up to defend that one, and what effectively happened was you got that fight where Miracle engaged and you could try and burst him down, but he's got 1900 HP, 2000 HP on his main Meepo, and a little bit more on his secondary Meepo, so bursting him down just isn't really all that possible there. So if you go in here and the TPs come in, it quickly backfires. Like, doing 2000 points worth of damage with this Bears draft is actually not that easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no real items coming out that are going to easily change that. Perhaps like the Mirana, like Ethereal Blade type pickup, but yeah, I think again they're going to have to play for the high ground defense. They're going to have to be defending against a theoretical second Aegis on Meepo as well. But they have been able to use their smokes and vision very well to find pickoffs, and that's going to be the continued theme for this Bears draft. Running right into Miracle here.
Oh, they have a DD up on the bear as well. They're going to try and jump through, do as much as they can. Miracle dropping low. Oh, he gets graved though, and they're not going to be able to bring him down. The 3-person crush. They end up hitting the arrow onto GH. Adam trying to turn it back around. They are going to be able to bring down Miracle. Huge kill though, but how much is it going to cost him? GH trying to chase after Firo. It's not going to be able to be a kill. It looks like Farev is going to go down here though, as well, they take down 2 on the other side as they've run down Mind Control. They actually end up getting a 2-for-3 exchange. That's a huge win for Bears.
Oh, yeah. That's a great timing. No Aegis. You know, you can get him. Can they get Matu as well?
Oh, God, looking double Shackle as well. Power shot to boot. They take him down.
What a big kill to get there at the end as well. Matu, definitely a player you can't ignore as well this game, playing the sniper. He's got some decent farm as well to go with the Meepo, and that's a much-needed teamfight victory. They found the Meepo, isolate him, they're able to do a lot of damage. Even though he gets kept alive a little bit longer, that Meepo couldn't escape. The Grave just bought time for Liquid to get in there and try and retaliate, but ultimately there was no escape for that Meepo. He couldn't poof it out, he didn't get like the 4 stuff out on it, and the turnaround was not successful for Team Liquid. Unfortunately, no Roche just... even if Roche had respawned really early there, I don't think Bears have the damage to kill it fast enough with Meepo and Sniper soon to respawn, but they're going to be eyeing that one off for another team fight similar to what we just saw.
It feels like to me they have to get the Nyx Assassin Vendetta damage down. That bonus 400 made pretty much all the difference in that fight. Like if they didn't get that one, it would have been pretty rough. So I don't know. Perfect initiation. Bears end up taking it. Some signs of life in this. If you're Liquid, how do you respond?
You vision game. That's you know that Bears have been using their smokes to achieve this. Like that's perhaps like the last smoke. They've got one smoke left, perhaps maybe none. Looking around, I don't see any smokes on the Bears side. So securing Roshan should be pretty straightforward if your opponents don't have smokes, and you've got smokes, so you can try and smoke and get the jump. The big thing is here, if Liquid engage with the Meepo, rather than have him get engaged upon, they'll win fights. That fight's pure one because Bears initiate in, they chain stun him, they get him down to basically kill him outside of the grave. They've just got to wait the grave to wear off. But this time around, Mind Control's going to be the one initiating. Although they scout the ward being planted with that sentry there, so they know exactly where Liquid are, but it doesn't look like they can easily get out.
Adam, they pull back in Yapsor, but that's a pretty good turnaround. Is it going to be enough, though? They're starting to bring down Miracle. An Impale hit onto absolutely everybody. Frev is still going to drop for that, so 3 die in just under about 4 seconds. And
that's Blink Crush from GH, catching everyone. So it was like a 3-man crush into a 4-man Carapace Impale from the Nyx, but once you've lost heroes there, the utility's all gone, Mirana wasn't in the fight, and again, Liquid know that, yeah, that last fight went terrible for them, but if they're the ones initiating, fights are going to go well for them. This sets up next Roche, which, unfortunately for them, is max duration respawn, so Bears will actually be alive for it, but it still looks like the case is that Bears have no smokes to actually leave their base with, so Radiant Vision is going to theoretically see any move towards that Roshan pit.
Did they update the smoke things where you could see them in the shop now, or is that?
I don't think so. No, we can't tell as casters.
Okay, no problem. It's all good. Well, yeah. So we're still gonna wait for that Roshan, like you were talking about, a ways away. They have 1 ward down. It is, geez, just like about the max time. It does not look like Bears have that same vision. Even if they did, can they really even contest it? Honestly.
No smoke, no Roche contest. Although, I mean, you could try it, but I think it's like a suicide type play.
Okay.
More likely than not, if Liquid position right, you get wiped at that Roshan pit, but we'll see. They can use the Spirit Bear to scout, but again, the Spirit Bear likely could just end up being food. You disengage. Forev. They don't actually have Radiant Sentries, so this becomes a lot more feasible without Sentries, but they kill it so fast. If Forev somehow got in there, invised up, that could have been a play for him to make, but doesn't end up happening in the end.
Oh. What have you thought about this Wind Ranger pick? Is it felt like, I mean, granted it's in a Meepo game, so it's hard to say, but do you like the skill build at all, the way that he's been playing it?
Yeah, I mean, for a support Wind Ranger, this is like pretty standard stuff. You just being that utility, blink 4 staff, you want to hit the shackles, do as much power shot damage as possible in a fight. I think he's done everything right as a support Wind Ranger. I just think the hero, I want to almost say it was meant to be the mid lane of this game until they saw that Meepo pick and they felt Mirana core for the damage output was needed. But even if that's not the case, I feel like the hero is still a little underwhelming.
Right.
But more than anything, they're being Meepo, you know? Like,
yeah.
Very hard to fight this one. Fear at bottom needs to not get caught by the Meepo straggler. He is positioned pretty far back here, but Meepo's left his main Meepo in that bottom lane to try and find this pick off. And Firo will show himself.
Ooh, they found one of the Miracle Meepos up in the top lane with an arrow, but yeah, no great answer for that. By the way, he's also picked up a Scotty at this point and is level 23, so he's just a monster. He's terrifying.
No Radiant scan, so we can't scout Firo out, but he probably has a pretty good idea that Firo is with his Spirit Bear. Question is who takes the bait first? Will Miracle go out to farm the lane, or will Firo come out to push the lane? It looks like Firo's coming out to push the lane at the perfect time, though.
Yeah,
Miracle's gone top.
They brought him. Nice real reaction there, and they also able to hit a shackle looking for the arrow, not going to connect. The towers are still going to take a lot of damage. Miracle dropping somewhat low. This would still be the Aegis, but while this is happening, Lone Druid doing what he does best. They're going to be able to lift him up. Mind Control. Can they take this fight? A good Impale. Connect through. They burn through the Aegis. All right, Miracle's down once. Can they do it again? Arrow on the mark. Nicely played there. They get the Spike Carapace turnaround, and, well, Rubik has also stole the Crush. GH is going to get graved then. It's still a lot of damage to burn through for Miracle. They need to get a good stun off. The land from the Telekinesis was able to get through. The win run slow as well. Miracle's starting to drop low. They are going to be able to get that fill. Also controlling Matumpa Man. The right click starting to go, and they are also going to be able to run down Kuro. A great combination. And they only end up losing from that, I guess, the range barracks? Or range, yeah.
That is one of like the best high ground defenses I've seen in my life. Like that was just every small little detail done right. The second Meepo poofs his main Meepo up top, Firo comes out, split pushes the bottom lane. This then tempts they're like, we don't want to trade Raxes. Firo with the Spirit Bear and with the Battle Cry up pushes very fast. So that tempted the Batrider TP back. But Batrider, if he TPs back, he cannot let Lone Druid TP himself home, because what ends up happening is Lone Druid got a really nice Savage Roar off on Mind Control, and then Firo was able to TP back top to defend. So it turned into a 5v4 without Batrider up top, and the numbers game favored Bears up there. They took the Aegis very cheap, and then the second life of Meepo, they hit the arrow, they burst him down again. That was just a perfectly played high ground defense. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, they weren't quite able to find the catch there. Mind Control looking for the initiation. Catches 4 of as soon as Spike Carapace is off, but there's the counterplay. Adam goes in, able to find him. GH controlled and brought down. They still have buyback available on both of their heroes that are down, but they are not going to chase this any further. At least for now, Bears back.
Could TP to the shrine. They need to perhaps get out of here and get out of here soon. Is Meepo going to go for it? Yeah, he is. He's coming in. They need the gem in there for the detection, though.
Oh, misses the Impale. They are going to be able to get the Shackle, though, but Meepo, he's going to be coming in from the backside. They're trying to find him. Catches onto Yapsort, but the Moonlight Shadow actually working. He's going to be able to get out and away. They don't find that kill.
Oh my gosh, Bears are playing some insane Dota right now. The fact they defend their melee racks at top, they don't lose anyone there. That looked like a potential like 2-3-man kill for Liquid on the Meepo respawn, but they recognize the threat of the Batrider. He's the scouting hero that's going to move out with that gem, find the pickoffs for the Meepo with the detection, but by using the cover of the Moonlight Shadow, killing off the bat before Meepo could even get into the fight, Meepo had no vision. He couldn't do anything. And Bears somehow still in this game, and that's all you've got to do against a Meepo is hold your high ground and win one big fight against him. And now that Bears have done that, a lot of the Meepo's advantage has been taken away, so this game goes back to a state which is very winnable for Bears.
Fata, to me, has just been playing out of his mind. He's only 3,000 gold behind this Meepo right now and building towards his Lincoln Sphere as well. He's been pushing out the lanes. He's been basically not getting caught. And I guess the one thing to talk about a little bit is that Meepo, while he is incredibly hard to deal with when he's at his peak because you're at a relatively low level, he can sort of fall off as the game goes super late. Is that something you'd be worried about if you're Team Liquid at all?
I think soon. Next
depending
on the next Roshan. And
wait, they've got him. He's completely alone. Yep. Miracle gonna go down again in the jungle.
Now you're worried. Now you're very worried. But yeah, the number of times you get picked off after like 25 minutes in is what you look at for a Meepo. Like dying in the early game doesn't matter, but dying at this stage is where it hits you hard, gives your opponents a lot of gold, and you lose a lot of gold in the process.
They pull back into one, but Forev getting the counterplay. Very bold move. And they're going to look for more.
GH was just stunning and running. I'm not sure what the communication was there, but there wasn't communication because GH just wanted to get out. Meanwhile, Batrider followed up the crush with an initiation, which was not the call from the Liquid side, it seemed. Not everyone on the same page, and the result is they're going to have to back off to the high ground, probably lose all these outer towers. Not sure if Bears can force out those buybacks. 40 seconds, and with the tier 2 towers still standing, it looks like Liquid will at least be able to hold on to those.
This is insane to me. Again, we talked about it. Not a ton of heroes that were exceptional at dealing with Meepo that you traditionally think about, but they've been able to formulate their draft to make it work and putting on a great display. Bears, I mean, even whatever happens this game, this is a team to watch out for as they jump forward, kill off the creep wave, and starting to assault high ground at least a little bit.
Respecting the Meepo respawn and also knowing that Meepo likely going to have a buyback as well. Fortunately for Bears, these couple of good pickoffs on Meepo and fights they've had haven't led to them getting anything like a Roshan. If they get an Aegis and Cheese, that's like, I don't know about game over, but it puts them in a big advantage. Liquid, for their draft to work, they need that third Roshan. They need to get another Aegis on Meepo. Meepo having 2-3 lives is one of the most important things for the hero to scale into the late game, because to go back to your question, like how can Meepo, will he scale or fall off in the late game? It really does depend on Aegises. Meepo's a hero that if you want to burst him and you've got the damage to do so, will die. It's how much you can punish your opposing team for committing everything on Meepo, and the way to do so is to have multiple lives, to have an Aegis and to have a buyback. If you've got 3 lives on Meepo, you can punish Bears for overcommitting onto him. So getting this third Aegis is going to influence a lot as to how well Meepo scales late game.
All right. We'll keep our eyes out for that. Fata, in the meantime, building back into a Mjolnir, and he has eclipsed the Meepo in terms of net worth. Still a little bit of ways in terms of the levels, as Meepo is getting close to that level 25, which I'm assuming we go for 400 health in this one, just considering how important it's been. Is Poof worth it? In your eyes?
I don't think Poof is ever really worth it, just because 6-second cooldown is fine. Your damage is mostly through right-clicking rather than poofing anyways.
Yeah.
And the 6-second is fine. As far as mobility goes, you don't need 3-second cooldown poof.
Oh my god.
On Matu.
Really nice initiation. The counterplay there comes out. They're going to be able to control up Yapzor. Miracle on top of him. Matumba Man starting to deal the damage, but they actually have the way to get out. The Ghost Scepter working in spades. Yapzor is going to be brought down, and, well, there's the initiation. They come in onto Fata. The Flaming Lasso working, and Bears looking good, but it's a scary moment when you get chased down. This is scary. They've already been able to bring down one. The rest of Liquid is coming in from behind, but it looks like GH is not going to go any further as far as being able to find kills.
Haze on everyone. It's really hard to fight now with Haze on all these heroes. Meepo healing up his images, bringing the main army in. They want to force those buybacks. Fata has one, win range does not. They were one shackle shot away from winning that fight. If that shackle hits Sniper and one of the heroes behind him, Sniper dies, doesn't get his BKB up, but Matu with the full 8 seconds of BKB, able to do a lot of damage. Fata blinks on him with the Mirana, but the Starstorm didn't hurt him because of that BKB.
Another nice stun comes out there, but they do not have the damage as of yet. Buyback up online for Mirana, 40 seconds away. They're going to go for the glyph. Firo getting initiated on, able to seal Corrosive Haze back away. Ferev gets the Impale off, power shot, nice grave, keeping him alive for the moment. Arrow is going to go through, does not connect on anybody. Matumba Man is going to go down. Ferev finds him, now looking for more. They're going to be able to chase this in just a second. Can they control Miracle? They throw out the Hex and trying to get out and away. No, but they get the Savage Roar. Miracle is going to go down yet again. 3 heroes dead for Liquid. They did lose a melee Rax.
He tried to make a play, sending his secondary Meepos out and sending his main Meepo back in so he could blink away, then poof. Like, he went in with a Hex and an Ensnare on his main Meepo, but couldn't blink fast enough to get out of there on his main Meepo, so that main Meepo did get trapped, and that's Rosh up. This is the much-needed Rosh for Liquid. Getting a melee Rax for Roshan favors Bears at this stage of the game. You're quite happy to play. Oh, Batrider?
Is he going?
Caught by the Carapace Impale?
Oh no, Batrider chased down. Trying to bring him in. They are going to get that kill. That's also a gem on the ground. Doesn't look like they care about that, though. It's all about Roshan. So 4 dead. They don't want to buy back on these heroes to secure it. Do you think that this is the right call?
It's a tough one, because if you buy back and Meepo dies again, you've lost the game.
Yeah.
But similarly, if you don't buy back and your opponents get Aegis and Cheese, you haven't lost the game, but you're playing, like, rather than playing to win, you're playing, not to lose. And by buying back there, it's like the let's play to win, and let's put the outcome of this game in our own hands by giving yourself the option to engage and contest Roshan. But now you give Bears control of the game for this duration of Aegis. Bears can be the aggressors. They've got an Aegis on Fata to make up for his buyback being on cooldown. And this Meepo is definitely not the force that he once was, but defending high ground, you've got Sniper, you've got Corrosive Haze to boost up the Sniper's damage. You've got Batrider 2, who's one of the better high ground defenders, but Bat's big issue right now is he doesn't have BKB. Against Nyx, not having a BKB is proving to be very problematic, and there's no real... I mean, he's halfway there, but it doesn't really feel like he's got space or room to farm it right now. Yeah. I'd almost say Liquid, defend high ground, don't fight, give Mind Control a lane to split push and farm, because this BKB is actually a game-winning type item for the late game, which allows you to get pickoffs without getting punished.
It feels to me like this is also maybe a team mentality decision. Like, let's compose ourselves, make sure that we don't feed into this sort of turnaround that's been going into the favor of Bears. Was now a little bit of a lead in terms of net worth and about 10,000 experience lead as well. Maybe you resettle yourself, you realize, you know what, we got this big bad Meepo guy, Sniper's got himself a good bit of farm, then they're able to re-engage again when the time is right. And, well, we'll see how that ends up working out for them, as 19 to 24, feeling very, very close at this point. Because honestly, if Liquid win a huge fight, I mean, they can kind of just run down mid, and they take towers quickly as well.
I mean, any fight where Bears don't have buybacks on core heroes, and if, like, Mirana, Lone Druid... I mean, Lone Druid has a short respawn time, but he can't defend without the Mirana. And I think the Nyx is also important. If you lose, like, a Mirana or Nyx without buyback, game can just end. Meepo, probably one of the fastest high ground pushing heroes in the game. Maybe more so once he's got this Ethereal Blade, but for now he wants to, of course, hold on to his buyback.
Oh my god, GH just walked into hell. Holy crap. That was scary.
He doesn't have any respawn talent, so that's 50 seconds down, no buyback.
He bought out for his BKB right there, I think.
Yeah. That's You can still defend high ground pretty well just with Bat and Sniper, though. And Bears actually Moonlight Shadow into this Radiant jungle.
Oh, they found Miracle yet again. They're on top of him. Fata's starting to drop low. Needs to leap out just a second, but Earthbind is keeping him there. That is going to be the Aegis down, but they take down Miracle. 90 seconds. They're going to force a buyback.
Yeah, there were pings on the Adam after that. He perhaps could have saved Fata, but he blinked into trees accidentally. He four-star forward and blinked. He was trying to get there from very far away, so it looked like he was too far away to save Fata anyways, but if he somehow saved Fata's Aegis, that would have been a big win for them, but they get to force Meepo's buyback. Fata himself doesn't have buyback as well, so both of the big damage-dealing heroes for both teams will be playing without buyback for this upcoming fight, assuming the Meepo uses his to defend, which I think will become a necessity. But you want to buy back off of an initiation.
Whoa! The Tumble Man up in the air. They actually pull back in for Ev, though, and GH already down, so that's one going down. Mind Control also in trouble. They're doing a ton of damage, Shrine or no Shrine. They need to be careful. Oh my goodness, backing out again. They're going to focus down the barracks, but Firo, the lone druid, right-clicks.
God, that Bat surviving on such low HP. They're going to give up the racks for now, preserving that oh-so-important Meepo buyback.
Oh, the arrow forced staff away, though. Oh, good play right there. Kuroki, or rather, excuse me, Mind Control, saving his sniper, and now turn on. It's still 20 seconds with no Meepo. They have another Spike Carapace so they can control Mike
very well, though. Look how low Firo is. He can't get assassinated because of the Lincolns, though.
All right.
That's all in all. I'm okay with that decision not to Meepo buyback. Being down a lane of racks, but having Meepo buyback is probably the better position to be in than buying back and saving that rack. So good, brave call from Liquid. They managed to find the initial picks at the start of the fight using Mind Control with his lasso initiation, using the BKB of Matu, which is getting shorter and shorter, though. That is a concern in itself, but I mean, at this point, you take what you can get if you're Liquid, you hold on to the Meepo buyback, and now you can look to be the aggressors. They smoke up immediately, knowing that a game-winning fight could come off of a Fata kill if they find it fast, but his buyback is 1 minute and 6 seconds away.
Yep, and well, we'll see if they can hold out for that long. It seems like it should be possible. The Courier Snipe still 2 minutes without that Yule Scepter. That I believe it was Adam who picked it up, so obviously Rubik being able to give him that extra bit of survivability if Meepo does happen to jump on him would be pretty good, or anybody, honestly. Yeah, Shrine's about to go down now.
Yep. Definitely worth taking those out with potential Roche importance in the late game. They're pinging the other one already, although not necessarily sure if they want to run across the map towards it and put themselves in a vulnerable position, but if you can get that one, you make it a whole lot more difficult for Liquid, for Bears to defend that next Roche. But for now, they are positioning around that Shrine, ready to fight it should Liquid come their way.
The other thing to think about here is Yapsor turning into another core. Aghanim Scepter is going to be online too, on top of his Maelstrom already. You also have the BKBs that are completed now, also on the Bat Rider, so that problem that they had before going to be slightly mitigated at least.
Yep. Big level 20 for Mirana, going for the attack speed on the Leap, not the multi-shot arrows. I like the multi-shot arrows. I've become ever since Weeha did it at ESL, I've become a believer in this. I've tried it a few times as well, and it's like, if you just happen to somehow magically arrow 2 heroes in a team fight through all the chaos, like, it pays for itself. Like, you do a lot, like, the Leap attack speed is a ridiculously high amount of attack speed, so I don't blame him for getting this. It's the more reliable option, like, you're guaranteed to get value out of Leap attack speed, whereas the multi-arrow, it could be useless. So I don't blame him for getting this one, but I'm definitely a believer in the multi-shot arrow in most games.
If there was a game to take multi-shot arrows, it would be when Meepo's in it, though. Like, let's be real about that. Net's down. The bear is going to fall down into the ground.
Not too big a deal. Does have a second one, but is that guaranteed Savage Roar if the Lone Druid himself gets jumped upon? But it does seem like Meepo is just going to play with his illusions on the other side of the map, around the Roshan pit, which no Roche for at least a minute. So both teams knowing that are playing the kind of map control game. Like well, Liquid are playing the map control game. They are the ones pushing out these lanes, keeping Bears honest, keeping them defending their high ground, making it so they can't move out on the map. And the result of this is they're just looking to secure that next Roshan in as safer way as possible.
Definitely.
Meepo's transitioned. He's got his Ethereal Blade, so he's actually doing a decent amount more damage with the extra agi from this item in these upcoming fights.
Yeah, and they're trying to keep this creep wave pressured out consistently. I like what they're doing with Matumba Men down here, just spamming out against the tower. They need to be careful of their wraparound. That's what Mind Control is doing over here as well. GH ends up not getting caught, but Matumba Man does. The power shot follow-up. Are they thinking to go on this? The Impale connects onto 2. Oh no, it all started with an arrow, and it might end up turning back around. Fata takes down Kuro, trying to focus now on a Miracle. He is dropping low, but Fata also is going to end up dropping low. He is going to die. Buyback is there, but they also take down Meepo. Oh no.
Ooh, what an arrow. That is the pickoff you're looking for. From behind is GH. What is he up to here? He's invised up. He's going to find Yapsor.
But they have the amp.
There's a gem.
Oh my god, Yapsor blink backing away. Forev spotted him. Great reaction by Yapsor.
He went for the plays. That's GH in a nutshell. If there's an option to make a high-risk play that's high reward, he'll always go for it. And you got to love that about watching him play, but every now and then the outcome will just make you kind of facepalm a bit, and that was potential easy, just TP home, get out of there, survive, but he goes for the flashy move and gets punished.
The best of plays, the worst of plays. GH, God.
What the outcome of this is going to be. There's no Roche for about 30 seconds, so everyone should be roughly alive for that next Roche. Defending high ground against Lone Druid with Batrider, Sniper, and Dazzle. Definitely possible, so don't think we'll see any racks claimed off of that. Neither team will have to use buyback, so everything will kind of reset in some weird way. The main difference is Bears actually get to push out their lanes. That bottom lane is now pushed all the way to the Radiant base. They can get wards up around that Roche area. They can look to control the map for this impending Roche.
Yeah, and you can see only one ward placed currently. It's down here in the bottom lane of the team.
They get the high ground ward now.
Yeah, this is a good one. On to Matumba Man, and they force-staff him out. Great play. We get the great, but I'm not sure if it's going to end up being enough. And they throw out the Flame Break. It is going to end up being 1 kill onto Adam. Forev also going to go down, but that was Matumba Man dead.
Ooh, he's got it in 50 seconds here. They want to fight here. They want to go in. They have got the sniper buyback if they want to commit to it.
Oh, no, but all they're going to get is the bear. Heads up play.
It does potentially secure them Roche. If they head there right away, there's no next buyback. Mind Control will scout it out. These late game fights getting super hype. I am edge of my seat kind of going right now, you know? It's just like how well both these teams are playing around their strategies and timings. This time around it will be the Aegis for the Meepo, the much needed Aegis for the Meepo. He has buyback theoretically as well. Doesn't have the money for it right now, but he could theoretically have 3 lives for the next team fight.
Yeah, Boots of Travel level 2 as well.
Tough.
So if he wants to get in on top of one of these heroes just immediately, it's got the opportunity to do so. So, you know, jumping back in and out of the fights.
Wind Ranger, level 22. You kind of mentioned transitioning well and truly into a core. Yapsor, Ags, Maelstrom, going back for a Bloodthorn next, it looks like. Has those new talents. Goes for the Spell Amp, the extra damage with the Maelstrom. As well as the... I mean, you're not really throwing all too many power shots, but it's still nice to clear creep waves a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess you go for the attack range at level 25. So, I mean, definitely as a core... what is now a core Wind Ranger, you go for the attack range.
It's kind of interesting how he's been able to do that. Again, just the power shot, really cool. 420 damage, he's got 9-second cooldown, and just consistently he's been able to push out those lanes with it.
I think the big item for Liquid to pick up, for Bears to pick up, I keep getting them mixed up because I see Fata, I think Liquid is going to be a evasion item, Butterfly, because he's surviving all the... I mean, there isn't much magic damage anymore. There's an MKB coming on Sniper, but Meepo, he seems to be just right-clicking down Fata in most of these fights. Like, Fata goes in, he has Lincoln's BKB, but the right-click damage kind of overwhelms him, so I think if he gets a Butterfly, it's more agi, but more importantly, evasion against Meepo. That's a big upgrade for him. Could even... I think you replace the Ag Scepter with it.
Okay.
You're kind of at that point where you don't need the AoE magic damage as much. The Butterfly is going to offer you more, or at least move the Ag Scepter over.
Wind Ranger is going for a Solar Crest. I think that's a nice little middle ground as well. I was wondering if that might be something that they would go for.
Yeah, well, put that on the Mirana. That's
exactly.
The subs, like your Butterfly's too far away, or you think you're slot limited, or you want to have buyback, because you're going to have buyback and Butterfly. You're looking at I don't know, another 5, perhaps 10 minutes, depending how things develop. So the potential Solar Crest is maybe the intermediate option.
Right.
Liquid smoked up right outside.
This is scary
They've
time
got
right
Aegis. They've got buybacks.
They're ready to go.
Meepo.
Mind Control and GH leading the charge. They find onto Fata. Ain't able to pull him back and away, though. Rubik steals amp damage, and that's Fata going to go down. Buyback is still available. 90 seconds. They're going to force it.
Yeah, they definitely want to force that one now in this lane. They've got the Aegis to force around. Perhaps they wait for the next lasso before they force it. That would be like the cautious play, because then they have the guaranteed pick-off. If you wait BKB lasso, you're very strong. That is... I feel where Liquid have the late game advantage, because BKB lasso late game as initiation is incredible.
Well, they throw out a shackle, not going to connect on a Miracle, and Tumba Man just gets eviscerated, though. Forev trying to run out, backing away, and now it's still a lot of damage coming out from the lone Druid. Miracle Ghost Scepter comes out to keep him alive, just barely able to escape Yapzor. Not quite there in time with the power shot, and now comes back in with the rest of the Meepos, but that is Matumba down.
Died so freaking fast. That was I was wondering if it was like a blade mail or something, but it was just Fira right-clicking him down. The Deso Mjolnir. That was overwhelming damage.
Oh, GH. Oh, in some trouble now. They've got the Impale to follow it up. Nice BKB to turn it back around. Mind Control is here as well. They're going to try and get 4Av out, and they are going to be able to do that, but that is 2 BKBs used.
That's... And with Sniper still dead, you just use your BKB on your 2 initiators. It's not going to be a Fata Mirana kill that translates into a lane of Rax or anything. They could still go for that Shrine. I feel like they've maybe forgotten about it at this point, because this is kind of where you want to back off and just wait for those BKBs, wait for Sniper. But Liquid have other ideas. They are thinking initiation with Batrider. It's kind of where you don't want to use your Firefly to initiate if you don't have BKB, because otherwise you get hit in the Carapace.
Oh.
And with the Mirana respawn, they want to go in. They recognize
they see Firefly's going to be down.
Sniper has no boots of travel. He
oh
can't
my
get
god.
to this fight.
He's TPing to the tier 3 tower. That's not going to get you there quick enough, man. GH is going to break the smoke. He actually is not going to quite find the initiation, and that's Kuroki down. And, well, another net gets thrown out. They're going to lift him up. Sniper is going to show up to the rest of this one, though, as Mind Control trying to get to the high ground, out and away, but not able to escape. 2 down, no Kuro buyback right now.
They hung around way too long there. They didn't respect the Mirana respawn and just the initiation potential, and even losing a Dazzle makes a big difference. That's all that plus armor taken away. Didn't get a weave off, there's no Grave save, the Solar Crest, the Guardian Greaves, the 4-staff save, all of those saves taken away from Liquid with the Dazzle pickoff, and Liquid go on the back foot. I feel like they should have backed off as soon as that BKB, Batrider, and Slaughter didn't effectively get that kill onto the Nyx Assassin, but now they're going to have to defend high ground. Batrider will have a buyback and will have BKB back up, so they can go for that pickoff play, but no Dazzle for this one.
All right, Aegis now
no
down.
Aegis?
Getting into position. This could be the Bears' time. Miracle maybe going to look for the initiation. Buyback status, he does have it. A lot of boots of travel online as well. There's going to be the leap speed increase. They crush the bear. Arrow going out, not going to connect this time. Still waiting.
That triple arrow.
But
they're going to give up
gone.
the racks, it looks like.
It's too easy with this damage. The Deso late game is really effective.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
And bottom lane pushed in. They got to keep their eyes on this, though, because Miracle can backdoor so quickly with those boots of travel level 2.
He can, but he can also get punished very easily for backdooring because he's not a BKB carry. Like, he has got no escape if any, like, Nyx, Rubik, Mirana, Wind Ranger, they've all got these disables. If they TP back and catch him before he poofs out, he'll get quickly punished, so he's not going to risk it. They trade it. Again, we see Liquid not commit the buybacks. They're happy to give up a lane of racks if it means holding on to their buybacks. They recognize the situation this game is in and are prioritizing holding buybacks for winning a potential upcoming fight with extra lives that can win them the game. They're not playing to just save a lane of racks and then have the game extend. They're playing to win that big next fight. They're not playing for, like, they're playing for the future rather than the present, and they can find a pick now. It could be perfect for them, but it doesn't look like they're going to find all too much. Won't see a Roche for another minute and a half at the earliest, and doesn't affect either team too much being down lanes of racks here with the ease that some of these heroes push out lanes.
Well, I feel like the state of the game, we started off great for Team Liquid, and they got themselves into a great position, and now sort of have been able to fight their way back into it. Bears, And almost to the point where they're going to be in the lead if Matumba Man or GH gets caught out here right at the start. Arrow for Vision. Trying to find it. They're able to find off to one. The initiation comes out. Yapzor taking a ton of damage. He is going to end up going down. No! Able to walk away, but he ends up falling in the end to the DOT. Fata turning down, trying to take down another. Three are already dead. Fata in a lot of trouble now, trying to back out and is going to fall. 4 go down. Liquid with the team fight win.
They were just far enough away from Bears when Bears came in. Their invis were off on the Mirana. They were a little bit too far out of range. They were also disjointed. The Nyx stunned up the Meepo. Meanwhile, the rest of the Liquid team, the Bat and the Slaughter, the 2 frontliners who can be so chaotic, went on the entire Bears team. So Nyx was completely on his own.
All right. Buybacks in mass. Lone Druid hanging on to hers.
Yeah.
Matumba Man stunned, but they don't want to initiate here. Just buy whatever possible time they can for that Lone Druid.
You'll give up a melee Rax if it means Lone Druid can hold on to his buyback at this point. But Liquid have buybacks, and this is where suddenly... That's why you don't buy back to defend mid. If you give up that mid Rax and hold on to your buyback, suddenly you win a fight. You haven't won the game, but you're 1 step away from winning the game. You're 1 team fight away because you've held your buyback. So Liquid know they just have to reset. They're not in a rush right now. They can even theoretically look to secure next Roshan. That's not a position he wants to be in, but...
Yeah, it's not a huge one, but everything important at this stage.
That gives you the info of where your opponents are. That was... Was that the Moonlight Shadow even to initiate out onto them, perhaps? It's on cooldown now, but either way, Liquid press forward. There is no Dazzle buyback. I mean, it's a hero that you can't really save money in the late game. If you're dying, your economy's taking a hit, but not the biggest deal in the world. As far as heroes to not have a buyback, that's probably the one you choose.
We're sort of seeing that thing we were talking about with Meepo, where every additional item, sure, it's great and all, but it's not really giving you the same value that your first ones did. Double Scotty now on top of E-Blade and Scythe of Ice. He is a monster, but not sure if it's going to end up... I don't know. How do you feel about him in this game at this point? Like, can he initiate still? Is that something that's possible, or does he kind of have to wait to be the follow-up?
It's very reliant on the Slaughter and the Bat Rider. He can initiate and get control because he's got way more HP than the Bat or the Slaughter. Like, he's the tankiest of their whole team. So him initiating is still fine because it sets up a good lasso. It can lead to Bat Rider catching a key target like the Bear or the Wind Ranger or the Nyx. Same for the Slaughter. He may be able to engage on a better hero because Meepo initiates. So I think it's actually quite a good way to approach a fight with Miracle going in first. The bigger thing rather than items for Miracle is buyback. If he can have 2 lives, even 3 lives with an Aegis, that's where you're in a good spot. But right now, lives favor Liquid because of all those buybacks just now. Wind Ranger and Nyx and Mirana. 3 of the 4 Bears cores will call Wind Ranger 1 without. Does set Liquid up to take fights and win the game off of 1 good fight.
And there's a couple of heroes still missing Boots of Travel as well, so even if he did happen to have a buyback, for instance, on Yapzor, it wouldn't have ended up being able to be back for the fight aggressively. But
same for the Sniper. He's still holding on the Phase Boots. He's going for a Satanic. I like this choice.
Okay.
Whether or not he'll give up his buyback for it, we'll wait and see, but...
Oh, setting up for a big initiation. Adam is going to be there. They do get the stun onto him. So much damage. Matumba Man gets the BKB off as well. And now Miracle's on top of him, looking for more. They pull back in Firo. He is going to go down. Buyback is available. Rubik trying to... Well, he's already dead. And they get the crush on Yapzor as well. He's going to drop. Double from Matumba Man. And that's 2 heroes without buyback. 100 seconds, no Wind Ranger.
Yeah, Fata barely gets himself into the trees to escape there. I think the Bat Rider would have rather found Fata because that's the long respawn. Good news is Lone Druid is a shorter respawn, so he's going to be alive for the high ground defense, but it's still going to be a 5v3 high ground push if they can go fast off the Roshan. And that 5, it's not really 5. Meepo is going to have 3 lives. He's the one taking the Aegis, which, yeah, he's more than happy. He'd rather an Aegis than the Scotty. That's
for sure.
That's how this Meepo hero works. Lives matter more than items in the late game, and they are going to look to break through, win this game. Perhaps just go for the Mega Creeps. The Throne is the riskier option. And just try and use their numbers advantage here. Fata pushing out the bottom lane, but realistically, he's not going to win a Throne race. Could set up the Lone Druid to TP in, though. This may be the play for Bears. Will they go for the base race?
There's definitely a possibility for it. And, well, Lone Druid, they're getting into position. Firo is going to head out. They can also have a great TP canceller there. In the Nyx, they jump forward, crush onto the Bear. if they were going to do it, they got to go now. But it looks like they instead want to try and fight this Miracle. Already taking a lot of damage. Firo right-clicking him. GH goes in on top of him, but KB popped the right clicks coming through. They are going to lose Firo. Buyback immediately. Fata dealing the damage over here to the side and trying to take him down. Miracle so low. They can't kill him off, though, and Kuroki also going to live. Everybody's still left alive. Can they take down this Miracle Meepo? There's the right clicks. There's the stun, and there is the Aegis. Meanwhile, over to the side, Matumba Man takes down the Nyx as well. What? He was still over here.
Buyback.
Okay.
It could be over.
There's the Savage Roar trying to take him down. They do find that kill at the very least. Now, Mind Control lifted up. There's the arrow as well. Connects onto him. So they take down 2.
Oh, but Matu won. Him and Nyx both manned up on each other, and Matu lived on like 100 HP. Nyx barely dying there. The fact Matu can hold on to his buyback makes a world of difference. Having 2 sniper lives for this, what looks to be an all-in push down the mid lane, is going to be a big advantage for Liquid. It looks like they may have to use at least one of these 2 buybacks on Batrider or Meepo. Ideally, you only buyback the Bat, because the Batrider buyback is the BKB initiation with Lasso that can pull heroes into your tier 4s. What's happening? Oh, Rapier. I like it. Yeah, you kind of got to do this, but it's so hard to push in the Batrider. Lasso, BKB, pull someone into the tier 4s, into the Fountain, pull them into the Sniper, pew, pew, pew. It is so difficult to push.
Yeah. Well, they've got the bottom lane pressured out, and it looks like over here to the side, GH ready to pressure in the top lane. And with the Rapier, anything is possible. They are going to drop down some wards. This reveals that, yeah, they've been looking at him the whole time.
I think Batten wants to buy back ASAP.
Look at
and
this.
then Meepo wants to hold on to his, but if you can hold both, that's even better. And with
initiation, they've got him caught there. The arrow not going to end up going out. Fata taking a lot of damage and is actually going to be able to find that kill. Rapier on the ground. Yeah, and that's feeling pretty close to bad. Firo going to drop. They kill off another, and that could just be about it. GG is called. As well, Liquid, they end up winning the Meepo game. It's going to push us to a game number 3, but Bears looking spectacular in a game that should have been, in a lot of ways, lost earlier.
Yeah, holy shit, Luke. That was a best game of Dota I've seen in a while, like since the Major or something, I feel. That was just an incredibly high level of play from both teams, so tense. That high ground defense at top lane by Bears, where they defended their melee racks and forced the Batrider back bottom and then won the fight, killing the Meepo twice. That was like some of the best decision making as a team I've seen, and I'm just happy we get a game 3 between these 2 squads.
Absolutely. It'd be a travesty if we didn't. Let's be honest about that. But yeah, going to game number 3, Team Liquid facing off against Bears. I think they're going to ban Meepo. Just going to throw that out there. Do you first phase it, though? That's kind of a question I got for you.
Nah, I don't think you first phase it. It was very much the fact it was a last pick Meepo, and you had a pretty bad draft against Meepo. I think Liquid came out with a draft advantage, but through some amazing Bears play, the game became very close and competitive, but perhaps like a second stage ban on Meepo. But yeah, if you're really worried about Cheese, just first stage ban it, but it is a hero that it seems Liquid have been hiding, and we're happy to pull out there. So we'll see what happens. Game 3 drafts, Game 3 plays. This is just a fantastic series. It's just the winner bracket final. It feels like this could be like a grand final right now of a LAN tournament, but it's just to get that one European qualifier spot, and the winner of this will still have to win another series.
Yeah, we might see these 2 teams facing off against each other again, depending upon how the lower bracket matchup breaks out. But anyways, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Lyrical as well as your gods, your 2 commentators. Keep on following DAC 2017 EU qualifiers. We've got more action soon to come as well, where we got NA and CIS that are going to take place after the EUs are done. But for now, we're going to continue on with this Game 3 in just a few. See you guys then.